The following is a presentation on the UFSN Network. Welcome to the UFAFL Nation.
Yes, it's Tuesday, so you know what that means. It's another edition of UFAFL Nation. Welcome in, everybody. I'm your host, Michael Skrzniak, and we've got a jam-packed show for you today. Week 4 in the NFL just ended yesterday. Another exciting week, so we have a jam-packed show. We'll start off the show by bringing in owner of the Rage, Alex Muchinski, a.k.a. the Mooch. So he'll be joining us shortly. And after that, we'll wrap up the biggest headlines from the NFL this past weekend. And then we'll get into the UFAFL recap. We got 4 undefeated teams left. We got 1 team yet to get a win. We'll talk about that later. We'll do stock up, stock down. You might want to listen to my stock down because I was on the nose last week with my predictions about the Denver Broncos. And then we're going to also talk about a new contest that we have running on UFAFL Nation that I'm sure you all want to be listening to. And then over here on the right, you can see our contact information here. You can join us. You can follow me first on Twitter at MichaelSKRZ. You can follow the league at the UFAFL. And then Jamie Thomas running the show at UFAFL Scouting. Email us with any questions you have. The website's down there. So might as well begin with our guest for today. Coming off the Schneid, the 1-3 Rage, and joining us from the Rage, owner Alex Muchinski, a.k.a. the Mooch. Mooch, how you doing today?
How are you? Yes, very nice to get our first win. We ran into a buzzsaw the first few weeks. We were one of the top scoring teams in the league, and we had nothing to show for it, and that's unfortunately the way fantasy rolls sometimes.
Absolutely. Well, before we get started on the football talk, I noticed the New York Yankee jersey you're rocking today. You must be feeling pretty good about the wild card matchup tonight. As a Jays fan, it breaks my heart because I was yelling at the screen watching Tampa Bay not walk Aaron Judge to load the bases in that 9th inning. But good luck to your boys today. I bet you're really excited.
I don't know how good I feel about it. We've been mediocre all year. We have our ace going. Let's see if he's actually an ace. You know, ace should win this game. If he doesn't, then you can question whether he's an ace or not. But let's hope for the best. I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah, no JD Martinez in the lineup for the Red Sox either, so advantage Yankees there. All right, man. Well, for some football talk, let's get into it. Before we get into the your actual team with the Rage here, how did you get involved with UFFS? Because I know you're not only in football. I think you're also in hockey, and I think you're also in the basketball or baseball league as well, correct?
Well, yeah, basketball, we recently got a team. Our team's the Skyhooks, and we have the second pick in tomorrow's draft. So we've been diligently preparing for that. And hockey was the first team I bought. And I knew nothing about hockey. I still know very little, but I have who I feel is one of the best GMs in Jeff Ray. He knows his stuff, and we're planning on competing there as well.
Oh, good stuff, man. Well, you're finally off the Schneid in football. Tom Brady had an interesting weekend. Now, you've had some good games with Brady, and you weren't able to get off the Schneid. So, with his lowest output of the year so far, you're able to get the win.
Yeah.
You got Zach Wilson winning.
CJ Uzomah, baby.
CJ Uzomah, Thursday night. What a stud. This probably is only going to be his only game this season, so well, you lucked out there.
It shows, our preparation. We find these gems in the rough.
Absolutely. You must be happy with Clyde Edwards-Helaire. The last 2 weeks, he's
no,
finally
I'm
finding
not.
the end zone.
He doesn't get enough carries, and they should give him the ball more. So, no, I'm not happy with him one bit. I mean, he's a good back, but, Andy Reid's got to run the ball more.
It's weird because they drafted him to be like a pass catcher. And I feel like he is getting rushes, but he's not getting any catches through the air. Like I remember that one game against Baltimore. 9 different guys caught a pass. Helaire wasn't one of them. And this week, he only had 2 receptions, but he ended up finding the end zone on that 1-yard little shovel pass. He's such a weird back to rank because, yeah, he's on this amazing offense. But then if he doesn't get the touchdown, you're usually disappointed.
Andy Reid tries to get too cute. He's got a lot of talent. Just play football, but he's got to always, do 10,000 different things, and or he'll give it to the fourth string running back at the 4 yard line. Great, but that's the way it goes. That's the way it rolls. It's fantasy.
Yeah, I know. Mahomes has 5 touchdowns this weekend, and Travis Kelce has 20 yards. Like that's just the Chiefs, right? Like they can spread it around.
Yeah,
You're not only
exactly.
focused on the Chiefs, you're obviously focused on the Bucks because you got Mike Evans to pair with Tom Brady. I want to also dip into the Legends League because I know we've talked behind the scenes, and you're saying that Tom Brady for the Legends League might be the greatest investment that you can ever make. Do you want to delve into that at all?
Well, I don't know about the greatest investment you can ever make, but forget if you want to get a nice annuity stream going forward. Tom Brady in the Legends League, where he never gets old, and having it's just like a nice Christmas club every year. You're gonna make money. So yeah, he'll go for 100 grand when it goes to the thing. Now, granted, I get to keep 90% of that if I decide to sell. I don't think I'm going to sell, but if someone wants to pay up, we'll see how that goes. Circo, you want to pay up?
you probably they probably want to get in on that for sure. The
Yeah.
Legends League is fascinating to me because it's like it feels like it's gonna be like a video game simulation, kind of like Madden. But like if you're thinking Tom Brady in a video game, he doesn't really have those video game type attributes that maybe a Mike Vick might have, or like a Dante Culpepper, for example, a guy with a big arm that could run. So I'm just fascinated with like the concept of the Legends League.
Well, I
Is there
think
any
they're going
more
to have to
about the league that
adjust
you
it.
can explain?
They're going to have to
Sorry, go ahead.
adjust it because otherwise, if they just go by overall stats or year, your middle of the road quarterback is going to be better than a Bradshaw, and that's ridiculous. So they'll adjust it, and Brady's the goat, so he should be the goat in Legends. If he's not, then the algorithms are wrong. That's the way I look at it.
So it's interesting. You've been pumping Tom Brady's tires because I'm guessing you're from New York because I know you're a big New York Jets fan. You're rocking the Yankees
Jets and
jersey.
Cowboys, yeah. I mean, look, I hate Tom Brady. He's killed us for years. But now I'm in a situation where after all the pain he's caused everyone for so many years, now at least I can make some money off the guy.
That's true. So I also looked at you got Zach Wilson waiting in the wings. He had a big game this week against my Titans. The Titans actually made him look like the number 2 overall pick. Was that a calculated decision to get Zach Wilson?
Oh yeah,
Do you
oh
think do
yeah.
you think he's got the potential to be there for like 10 to 15 years? Because the Jets haven't really had
Without
any
question.
luck.
Look what he's doing now, and he's running for his life on every single play. I mean, give the guy at least a few seconds to pass, he's going to pick you apart. He's the best quarterback in last year's draft, no doubt about it. And we're happy he's a member of Rage. We expect him to be a member of Rage for the next 10 to 15 years. And I paid 6 grand for the guy. We obviously believe in him. And plus, if he's the franchise quarterback of the Jets. They haven't had a quarterback since Namath. He's going to be the biggest thing here. So, yeah, it was definitely a calculated decision to take Zach Wilson.
Yeah, it's just funny to me, like the New York guy just cheering for Brady with this New York quarterback waiting in the wings. For the Rage going forward, 1-3, you're not out of it by any means. Do
No.
you have any plans to improve the roster at all? Like, is there a spot on the team that you'd like to improve?
Well, I'd like to improve a lot of the spots on the team. Whether we'll be able to this year or not is another thing. So yeah, we're that's more Tommy, our GM, is on the chats with all the other people on there, and we go back and forth every day with potential deals, and if something makes sense to us, we'll certainly jump at it, and so I can't say that's a lot to be determined. I want to see how we do the next few weeks. But we're not certainly not giving up on the season at 1-3. We could easily be 4-0 right now.
Yeah, absolutely. Like that's the thing about fantasy, right? Like you just never know. 1-3, you're definitely not out of it. It's pretty close in the league. Like you have some heavy contenders. There's some 4-0 squads out there, but
Hmm.
there's definitely playoffs, and that you can obviously make the playoffs. So, UFAFL merch store just drop in. Do you have any Rage gear, and is there anything you definitely want a
uh,
Rage logo on?
oh yeah, we're good. I haven't bought any yet. We had some T-shirts made for the draft, but we didn't do that through the actual UFFS merch store. But we'll be buying stuff and we'll be getting stuff done. I'll be honest, it's been such a whirlwind. I bought hockey, I bought football, I bought
Hmm.
basketball. We had the drafts, we had so like it's like every day there's been a decent amount of the day devoted to UFFS stuff. So a lot of the marketing and stuff, we're going, we're not where we need to be with the social media yet. But we'll get there. We're just one step at a time. The first thing is to get the franchises. These things, for all us owners who own right now, you have a gold mine. These things are going to be worth millions of dollars in a matter of time. So, you just need to realize how lucky we all are to be on this early. So, we're participating in almost every auction. Even some of the obscure ones like the Junior Hockey League or something.
Oh
So,
man, just wait till the wrestling league unfolds. I know Andy Mack
yeah,
is
I mean,
getting the
this
tires
is going
ready
to be
on
a
that. So.
major. Yeah, it's going to be a major thing, in my opinion. This is good. This is, it's real exciting to be a part of it. I enjoy it every day. I actually probably spend too much time on it right now.
All right, well, but with that, then we'll let you go. Maybe get some other things done. Mooch, thank you so much for taking the time today, man. Congrats on the win this week. Good luck going forward, and hopefully we get to talk to you down the line.
Thank you. And remember, Tom Brady's an excellent hedge against inflation in an uncertain economic world. So anyone wants to roll with that, where he is.
Hut, hut, hey!
Well, thanks to the Mooch once again for taking his time to joining us on the show. Love the passion from that guy. We need more heels in this league. I love him calling out the Trout and everything and chirping Brady. So yeah, we definitely need more of that in the UFAFL. So speaking of Tom Brady, might as well go to the NFL recap from this past week. We got to start off talking about the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Brady returns to Foxborough, defeats Bill Belichick and the Patriots after Nick Folk missed a 56-yarder that would have given the Pats the late lead in the fourth. Brady wasn't terrible in this game. Like Mooch said, it was the worst outing of Brady's fantasy season so far. He didn't throw a touchdown. It was a rainy game. He should have had Antonio Brown in the end zone. AB couldn't reel in. It was a perfect pass. AB kind of had to dive and slide in the back of the end zone. But overall, Brady, he breaks Drew Brees' career passing yards record. He also became the fourth quarterback to defeat all 32 NFL teams, joining Drew Brees, Peyton Manning, and Brett Favre. A couple takeaways from this game. You really can't run the ball on this Tampa Bay defense. They're allowing just 47.5 yards per game rushing. That's amazing. It's almost 19 yards better than the next best team. But the secondary, not so good. Carlton Davis got injured again, and then they signed Richard Sherman off the street, and he looked okay in this game. But if you're going to beat the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, it's definitely through the air because there's no chance of running on them. Tampa should be fine. Their offense should be okay. They got the Dolphins, the Eagles, and the Bears coming up. I expect the offense to do okay, even without Gronk. Like Brady definitely misses Gronk, especially in the middle of the field. But against the Dolphins, Eagles, Bears, a bunch of defenses like I would not be afraid of playing. I think if you have Buccaneers players in your home leagues, I think you're going to be okay. Tom's the GOAT, so you don't have to worry about the Buccaneers. But that rush defense is something fierce. The next thing I wanted to talk about, two quarterback injuries of note from Sunday. Jimmy Garoppolo for the 49ers. He left the game Sunday with what they're calling a calf injury. Now, we're not 100% sure if he's going to miss any time going forward, but the rookie, Trey Lance, the third overall pick that they traded up to get, came in and passed for 2 touchdowns and rushed for 41 yards in just one half of football. He scored about 21 points in a half of football for fantasy. Not too bad. I've been preaching that the Niners offense could potentially explode with the move to Lance because of his rushing upside. We could see it this upcoming week. So last week on Stock Down, I also claimed that we should temper our expectations with the Denver Broncos. And lo and behold, Teddy Bridgewater takes a hit. They ruled him out with possible concussion symptoms. And then Drew Lock takes over in the second half. And it just was not a good performance for that Broncos offense. Maybe I jinxed these guys, but like, oh man. Feel bad for Teddy Bridgewater. Feel bad for the Broncos, who look pretty good after 3 weeks. We know they played a soft schedule, but they were in this Ravens game. The defense played pretty well. They were running the ball. But the offense is definitely limited with Drew Lock. No receiver was able to get at least 50 yards in that game. And now with the Steelers and the surprising Raiders defense, who didn't look bad last night, but the offense didn't look good, so the defense was on the field a lot more than they probably should have been. I'm just really worried about the Broncos going forward. Everyone's talking about them being one of the possible trade destinations for Deshaun Watson after all his legal stuff gets figured out. I think that would be a good trade next year. But for this year, like, the Broncos, they are what we thought they were. I'm going to steal that from Dennis Green, rest in peace. But, like, they're not more than an 8 to 9 win team, even with Bridgewater. But if Drew Lock is going to be the quarterback going for the next couple weeks, in your home leagues, it's just super hard to trust any Broncos player. Melvin Gordon, Javonte Williams, maybe in a flex, but you can't really trust any of the receivers going forward. The next game I wanted to talk about, one of the bigger surprises of the weekend, Kyler Murray continues his early MVP push as he throws for 2 touchdowns for the 4-0 Cardinals as they demolish the Rams 37-20. The score that indicates there, it wasn't even that close. A couple garbage time touchdown late for the Rams make this score look a little more respectable than it was. Been really exciting for Cardinals fans that they spread the ball around, because like, you can't just hone in on DeAndre Hopkins. They have so many weapons on this team. Christian Kirk's had a 2 touchdown game. Rondale Moore has done really well. AJ Green scored again this week. Chase Edmonds had 120 rush yards. James Conner scored twice from the goal line. So this Cardinals offense is very dynamic. Kyler Murray's not just focusing in on one guy, and it's going to drive defensive coordinators crazy trying to game plan for this team. And then if you try to focus on their weapons, Kyler Murray can kill you in a multiple of ways. There was that one play where I think it was a 3rd and 16, and Murray got around the entire defense and rushed for 18 yards. That's just the type of offense that these guys are going to run. And right now, Kyler Murray is easily the MVP of the league. Do I think that the Cardinals defense is going to play this well all year? It's hard to say. They have a really good D-line, but after a couple weeks of film, teams will adjust. But right now, they are probably the best story in the league, and they got a date with the 49ers this week coming up. So Kyler Murray versus Trey Lance. Get your popcorn ready. It's going to be a really fun game to watch on Sunday. Now let's move over to the UFAFL recap. And what a week it was. I checked the stats earlier this morning. We were waiting for, obviously, for O-line stats to come up. But some teams were able to get off the schneid. You got the Reid, Mooch, congratulations again. The Legion, the 77 Angels, and the Red Zone Dragons all won the first game of the season. We already talked to the Reid, but they got some big performances from Clyde Edwards-Helaire. Kenny Golladay had his first really good game. And then Cordero Patterson scored 3 touchdowns against Washington. Patterson is now the wide receiver 4. Who would have thought that? The guy plays basically he's like a running back wide receiver in Yahoo, and he usually takes most of his snaps in the backfield. But in this league, he's the number 4 ranked receiver. In your Yahoo leagues, it might be time to sell high on a guy like Cordero Patterson, because you got Ridley there, you got Pitts, you got Mike Davis. I'm just assuming that Matt Ryan won't just be able to find him, talking about Patterson all the time, but you are ecstatic right now if you have Patterson, and if you can sucker some guy in your league to upgrade like a running back or wide receiver position, might not be a bad time to do so. The Legion finally get some points from Kadarius Toney and Ronald Jones, along with big games from DJ Moore and Van Jefferson as they beat the Doom. 77 Angels rely on a couple of those Cardinals. They had Chase Edmonds and AJ Green to propel them against the Kraken, who got negative points from Houston quarterback Davis Mills in that game against Buffalo. That was just atrocious to watch. Not even Tyreek Hill and his 3 touchdowns could save the Kraken this week. Pay attention to that stat later on. And the Red Zone Dragons see the first big game for Laviska Shenault Jr. Thursday night They got really lucky that DJ Shark got hurt, because that's when Chenault finally seen targets that weren't just behind the line of scrimmage. They also got 3 touchdowns from Aaron Rodgers to defeat the Hammerheads. So good job, boys. The Turf Monsters right now are the only 0-4 team left in this league. So hopefully they can get after Schneid this week, but it's nice to see a little bit more parity happening in the UFAFL. Now let's go over to the big boys. 4 teams right now, undefeated. We had to check the stats before the show today, and then right before this show, we figured out that the Hydro were another team that moved to 4-0. They were behind by 5 points before the old lineman stats came out, so congratulations to the Hydra. Big matchup coming up this week, but I want to congratulate the Empire, the Gridiron Seals, and the Trout, who also moved to 4-0. The Empire get 23 points from Seahawks punter Michael Dixon. That's the great thing about the UFAFL. You're going to get 20-plus points from a punter to take you to 4-0. What are you going to do about that? So they defeated the Silverbacks. The Gridiron Seals, they used their stacked defense. Micah Parsons, Tyus Bowser, and Montez Sweat, all with 13-plus points. They also had Josh Allen. They also have Kareem Hunt, Stephon Diggs, as they defeat the Ghost Riders. The Trout keep rolling. They get performances from all their studs again. Antonio Gibson, Najee Harris, they combined for 50 points last week. They get 40 points combined this week. I definitely underestimated how well those running backs would play again this week, so good job, boys. They also got touchdowns from Dallas Goedert. Justin Herbert on Monday night against the Raiders looked fantastic. Then they also get 23 points from Titans linebacker Harold Landry, and 19 points from Jets defensive end Bryce Huff, who I've never heard of before. So good job scouting, boys. The Trout, definitely one of the stronger teams in this league, and they're going to be really strong going forward. And that takes us to stock up and stock down. I talked about this guy in the preseason for my stock up. It's New York Giants quarterback Danny Dimes. Yes, Daniel Jones. I talked about him that being a viable option in daily fantasy, because I looked at his weapons. I'm like, this is the best wide receiving core he's ever going to have. He's going to get a healthy Saquon Barkley back. So I was definitely in on Daniel Jones before the season, and he's starting to prove me right. He's the QB8 in UFAFL scoring after week 4. This Sunday, they got the overtime win against the Saints. He threw for a career-high 402 yards. He tossed a couple of touchdowns, and he added 27 rushing yards to his team-leading 188 rushing yards. Yeah, Danny Dimes is out rushing Saquon Barkley right now. I would have not have guessed that, especially since Saquon's played all the games. So you got to get in on Danny Dimes. We talked about him last week as well with the Empire. He just has a high floor because of the rushing upside, and they're usually down in games because they're not really a great team. You saw the game against Washington; they were down, so he had to pass. Against the Saints, obviously over 400 yards, so he can do it. And he didn't even have Darius Slayton and Sterling Shepard in this game. So I just expect good things for Danny Dimes going forward. He's going to have the high floor. The ceiling might not always be there. He does turn the ball over still quite a bit. He's had a problem with fumbleitis in the past. But you look at his games going forward. He's got the Cowboys coming up. He's got the Rams and the Panthers. So they're probably going to be behind in these games. All these teams look better than them. The Cowboys, you have to score, because the Cowboys are probably going to put up 30-plus points on these guys. It's going to be a shootout. We know about the Rams, and the Panthers are one of the more surprising teams in the league with a really good rush defense. So Danny Dimes is probably going to have to keep throwing the ball. So in your home leagues, if you can go grab Daniel Jones, I suggest you pick him up, especially if you're kind of disappointed. Say you played one of the young guys like a Trevor Lawrence, or you have a Big Ben. We got buys starting to come up. So check out Danny Dimes in your other leagues, because he's a viable option with good weapons around him, and I just see good things happening for him going forward. Now let's get to our stock down, and we can stay in the NFC East, and it's the Washington defense. Boy, was I wrong about this defense before the start of the year. In my other drafts in my home leagues, Washington's defense was either the first defense taken off the board or the second. It's usually them or Pittsburgh, and I'm just super disappointed. Now, is this because of Taylor Heineke and the offense? It's hard to say, but last year they didn't have great quarterback play either, and they were one of the more dominant units in the NFL. So through 4 weeks, like they've been awful. They've been allowing just under 300 passing yards per game, and teams are scoring 30 points a game against them. I did not see this coming. And maybe the most damning stat of all, this vaunted D line that has all these first rounders on there, they only have 6 sacks total this season. That's the same amount as the New York Jets. So if that doesn't scream disappointment to you, then by all means. So before the season, I would have said if you have a running back or like a number one wide receiver, depending on who else you have in your league, you should be hesitant to play against Washington. No, not at all. Don't be afraid to start any player against Washington. Also, like I was watching the Titans as well. Don't be afraid to play against the Titans. But yeah, you got the likes of the Steelers, Bucks, Rams that just like they're so much better than these guys. Their schedule is not great going forward. You got the Saints, the Chiefs, and the Packers. So if you have any of these players, don't be afraid to play against Washington because, boy, is that defense just hurting right now. So that was stock up and stock down. We can move to my best bet segment. And I was wrong this week. The Trout covered the 31.2 point spread against the Paradise Blackhawks, despite PBH getting 50 points from Patrick Mahomes and over 40 points from their linebacker position. The Trout were just able to get it done. We talked about them earlier. One of the best teams in the UFAFL. And boys, I'm sorry that I doubted you. Now this week, the Gridiron Seals, they're going to be 21.4 favorites over the other undefeated Hydra in what is probably the matchup so far of the UFAFL season. The Hydra lose Logan Thomas to injury, and after Austin Eckler's 31-point performance on Monday night, I don't think he'll hit 2 touchdowns again this upcoming week. Like that's a lot of points for a running back he's been okay this year, but Herbert likes to throw the ball around, and you had a really quiet week from Keenan Allen and Mike Williams, so I don't expect that to happen all the time. I'm going to take the favorite this week. That Logan Thomas injury is really going to hurt Hydra going forward. Like, tight end's not really deep, especially in this league when you have 32 other teams to worry about, or 31 other teams to worry about. So that's going to be one position that the Hydra is going to have to overcome. And yeah, I'm just going to take the Seals to improve to 5-0. The spread is not that high, so I'm going to ride with the favorite for this week. Now, before we end the show, we wanted to talk about a special contest that's happening right now in UFAFL Nation. So Merchtober, guys, welcome in. And what we're going to do is we're going to post the stat of the week here. And what you have to do, so you follow me on Twitter at Michael SKRZ, hit me up, send the hashtag ScrizzyStat with the stat that you see there on the bottom right corner. And all the people that do that, we will go into a random draw, and one lucky winner is going to win some crazy UFAFL swag. If you go check out the UFAFL merch store, between like tumblers, they're going to have t-shirts, they're going to have hoodies available coming soon. You're going to be able to put your favorite logo on whatever piece of merchandise you would like. This is an exciting adventure. This is just the start. This contest will only get bigger going forward, guys. I promise you that. Darren Bates and the boys working behind the scenes are going to be really pumping this and really pumping the store. So be prepared, guys. And Christmas is not too far around the corner. We're into October. We're into spooky season. And after that, when you go into stores, it's going to be all Christmas decorations and Michael Bublé playing all over the speakers. So get ready, guys. So Merchtober. So once again, hit me up on Twitter at Michael Skriz. Send the hashtag ScrizzyStat. Send me what the stat of the week is there on the screen. And yeah, good luck to all those that are trying to win some awesome UFAFL swag. So that will wrap up the show for this week. I want to thank the Mooch once again for taking the time. I'm not wishing any luck to his Yankees. No Yankees, no Red Sox for this Jays fan. I kind of hope the San Francisco Giants win it all. So get ready for some awesome baseball this week. The Thursday nighter in the NFL should be a doozy with the Seahawks and the Rams. The only anticipated matchup more that I'm looking forward to is the Hydra and the Seals. That should be a doozy. You got the Chiefs and the Bills coming up on Sunday night, which would be really good as well. Colts and Ravens on the Monday night is one that I'm looking forward to, especially as a Titans fan. The Colts going to 1-4 would be awesome for the division. But yeah, thank you guys once again. The production team behind the scene, Dean Millard, thank you boys. Jamie Thomas, Andy Mack holding it down. And to the rest of you guys, thank you for tuning in, and we will catch you next week.